Welcome to Multibase. Remove all database overview. When you first start the database, you're presented with a series of pop-up boxes, each one telling you if there's any courses due, if there are any medicals that are due, plant items that are due for service, respirators that are due for service, and then the system will go into the main display. Here we have clients entry, inquiries entry, job information and employees information. We also have reporting over here. There's also a setup screen which we're not going into today. Clients. Normal screen for clients, client information on this side and search information. It shows you all the information about the clients here. You have their contact names within the company. If you're making phone calls to them, you can track your phone calls. If they have a measured term contract, if it's a council, any active jobs they may have at the moment, and any completed jobs that they may have at the moment. That really completes the client. Inquiries. Here you can go to inquiries that you've had in the past. We're going to go to London Road, and it shows us removal asbestos as someone has inquired about it, as yet you haven't had a client. So we can just quickly add a client in here. We can say it's Multibase, contact, and the date the job needs to be returned by, and estimated cost. And that's fitted in when the client comes back to turn it into a job. Once it's turned into a job, it goes into our jobs form. We'll be given a number. The number is the estimate number, in which case this is estimate number 7. And the C1, which is client number 1. So here we can see inquiry 7, which will relate to that, and the client is Multibase, which is client number 1. We have the job number E7C1. Term contract, which is not, and there's none on that particular client. See from the other one, whether the job has been completed, its start date, its end date, who the surveyor is, who the manager is, and whether it's a notifiable job. You can also put your invoice number in here and the date it was invoiced. Down here is the cost to date and the quoted amount. Here we can keep wages, which are against employees. So I bring an employee in and set him in for a particular day's work on the 12th of the 2nd 2010, on the day it started. It brings up and says his daily rate is £55 a day. We can say OK, he goes on there, and then we get ready for the next one. And when you do that, you see that the cost today has gone to £55, the total wages are £55, and the profit is now £2,945. And this works similarly for plant, hire, stock, waste, other costs, all get added against your final pricing. We need to add a stock item, for example. We can say OV large, red large, value is £3, quantity 200, and we're going to take 100 out of stock and put it onto this job. Select. And there you go. That's a £300 cost, and it goes against the job. And you can continue to do this. And we're going to put the date required with the same date it started. This means you can gradually build a cost up against the job and keep a rough idea of how much the job is costing you to run. That's the job information finished with. Next is employees information. The employees information, we're going to have a look at Fred Smith. And as you can see, Fred Smith's a very good looking bloke. We can keep all the information necessary about Fred Smith. Date of birth, the date he joined, next of kin, his labour rate, which is a trainee, which is £55 a day, and this category is an employee, or he could be a subcontractor. Here is where we keep his medical information, and as you can see, we've got the date of the medical, the doctor, and where it took place, what courses he's taken. And this keeps historical data as well, because the historical data shows that he's taken the course several times, and that means he's got ongoing training with yourselves. You can see that there's a course that's overdue, and the button is printing that it's an overdue course and it needs to be sorted out. I'll come back to the exposures in a second. We have respirators, what respirator has been assigned to him and its respirator serial number, if he's been involved in any accidents, what the accidents were and what the symptoms were, and whether it was reportable or not. Health checks, which has to be taken daily on site. His wage history, as you can see, he's worked on our one job so far. And scans. Now, scans are quite an important section. This allows you to put scans of medical certificates, driving licence, supporting documentation for this person, all into one place. These scans, multiple of these scans added into the system. And last but not least is the exposure records. Now, the exposure records here, the date, the location, the type of work that was undertaken during the exposure, the method of air monitoring, whether it's actually air monitoring or presumed, values taken for that particular exposure, the duration of the exposure, the type of face mask that he had on at that time, and the total fibres are calculated at the end. This is done automatically for you. It also works out total fibres per hour, and if you want to see a graph, you can hit the button and we can have a look at a graph that he's for his exposures at 2007, which just changed the year for 2007, and there you go. There's his exposures for the first and third quarter of 2007. This would obviously do a yearly graph showing the overall yearly quarters that he's been exposed to asbestos. Now, the one important thing that we got throughout the whole system is a HS print all report. Now, what this does, will dump all this information into a single report. So if you have an HSE inspection and you wish to see all the things about this employee, you can click on the button and it will show the employee's information, their medical certification and whether it's overdue. Have a look at their training courses, whether they're expired, whether they're a historic record or whether they're ongoing. Respirator section, the respirator history and whether it's expired and the one he's got. Same with the accidents and health checks. And then the corresponding scans will come out as well, in this case ANARCA registration. Let's close this form. Also within the system we have training courses that are due, medical courses that are due, plant services that are due. So if we look at the training courses, you can print out a list of the people who need a course, how many days over it is, and whether we need to retake it. Respirators that are overdue service report, stock on hand report, health check report, which I think I've showed you already, job details, so we can go and look at a particular job. I'm pulling that, I don't think we've done anything, but there you go. It can show you the wages that were spent on that and the stock and the percentage of the cost so far. We also can look at inquiries by date range or by a customer. And again, we can put quite a big range in here just so we cover what we're looking for. I can show you all the inquiries that came in from that customer and whether it got turned into a job or not. There you go, and there's many other reports in there. And that's a quick overview of the Multibase removal system. Thank you for watching.